They've waited patiently. When all 7 balls you find, the dragon is set free. Rising, rising, mesmerizing, unbridled ecstasy. Radiant and shining, hidden somewhere in a field. Luminous and blinding, with your desires revealed. Ageless, timeless, what you'll find is beyond belief. Let's try, 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 look high and low. Search the sky and the sea below. Let's try, 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 seize the day and make new friends along the way. There you go.
That was a good say. I'm proud of you.
You did.
Thank you, thank you. That
was beautiful.
That was 14 years in the making.
They should have you do the intro to Dragon Ball Abridged. Welcome back to the DawnCast, everybody. We're here on episode 10. How do you feel about that simple 10 episodes?
I feel like this has gone on for maybe 9 episodes too long.
Wow. I just think it's 10 episodes longer than I thought it was gonna be, so...
You know what? That's fair.
Anyway... Today we're discussing part 2 of our WrestleMania predictions.
Yeah.
I think this card I booked today is, I think, a little more based in the fantasy realm than the first night I did, but it's still, I mean, are matches that could potentially happen. Just depends.
Yeah, and all of my matches are 100% confirmed to happen. Take this as fact. None of this is made in my head. This is all, this is a dirt sheet on my end. That's what this is.
Hey, Diego. Thanks, man. So, do you want to start with yours or mine?
You can go start with yours this time, because I did.
Okay, we'll start with me this time. Okay. How you doing, Diego, by the way? Welcome. He's live on the Twitch, for those of you that are going to be watching this on YouTube. Check us out on Twitch, by the way, same name, if you want to ever check the DawnCast live. But my first match of the night for WrestleMania Night 2 would be another tag showcase, this time the women, and it would actually be for the women's tag belts. And it would be Damage Control, Bailey and, what's her name, Dakota Kai versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, who would still be champions at that point, versus the former NXT Women's Tag Champs, Kaden and Katana, versus the last NXT former Women's Tag Champs, Alba and Isla. Because, I mean, it's basically the only 4 teams they really have going right now anyway, so I don't know who else you would book. You know, unless you're going to do one of those makeshift teams. It's definitely a, I think it'd be an interesting match. Yeah, no worries, man. I appreciate the lurk and the viewership. Always appreciated. I'm going to say that probably... I'm going to say Alba and Isla walk out, because they were like a good team on NXT. And I think if any, they could definitely use the win, since they got brought up to the main roster just to lose their belts, and we haven't seen them since. They're probably a team that could, you know, they could use the win, and I think if they were pushed right, they could be a big heel team, because they're essentially what's left of Toxic Attraction, even though, you know, it's only one member of one of the original members.
Yeah.
Alright, that's pretty much how I have it. I mean, there wouldn't be really a build for it. That's probably the only issue I have with that, is there wouldn't be much of a build to the match, because it's going to be one of those
but that kind of makes
tag...
sense.
And it's the women's tag division. No shade thrown at them. They try, but, WWE just doesn't really push that division. So it would have, that Mania kind of build, where they're going to have a few, matches against each other, and the teams will kind of get into brawls. But there's no real, rivalry here. It's just more of a title match than anything.
Well, technically it really doesn't even need a build, because you kind of have the, 4-person tag showcase, and they kind of don't build those. They're just like, hey, these tag teams are fighting.
No, exactly.
That's kind of how they do those showcases anyway. So that makes sense. But my first match of night 2 will start off with another championship match, this time the United States Championship match between Santos Escobar and LA Knight. Now, you might be asking, why? And the answer is because I want LA Knight to have that championship. So that's why LA Knight would also be walking out as champion after this. But from the way things are looking right now, it's looking like we're going to have Santos' first race soon, so maybe that can culminate in Santos winning and taking the title, and then him and LA Knight getting into a feud before Mania, have a little bit of a build. That way we can have Santos Escobar versus LA Knight, and have LA Knight walk out as champion, because we need LA Knight to be a champion. That's just in the way things need to be. Like, I need LA Knight as champion. Please. I'm begging you.
I think everyone could agree he needs a belt.
But, I feel like LA Knight can kind of make any match really look good, so no matter
Well,
who's
I mean,
put with
and
you,
that's
probably
also
will
on
do
the end of
fine.
that, him and
Santos
Escobar, yeah, I was going to say, Escobar is a good wrestler too, so that would actually
Yeah.
be a phenomenal match. Two really solid mid-card workers.
Yeah, and this will maybe do something to boost LA Knight up to that main event card, hopefully soon, which would be absolutely lovely. And once again, it would just be a fun match to watch, and it gets me where I want with LA Knight being a champion. So I'm just happy with that. You know what I mean?
No, I get that.
Do you have anything to?
Well, I mean, no, I think it would be a top tier match, and I mean, I think everyone would be happy to see LA Knight walk out with a belt at Mania. I have nothing wrong with that match at all. Maybe even like you could start the build out the Rumble, have like LA or throw Santos out, or have Santos be the one to throw LA out, kind of getting that going.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that would work well, and I think at that point Santos is probably a heel. He's turned on Ray and stuff, so maybe you have like LA throw Santos Escobar out,
or
and Santos out of like Rage or something, like
causes LA to lose the spot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you could definitely do some sort of build with that. There's a lot of paths you could take with like with build, I think, to make it work. And obviously for it to work, you'd have to have like Ray versus Santos pretty soon at like Survivor Series or like even maybe at the Rumble, who knows. But it's something and also like even after the Rumble, there's still Elimination Chamber and stuff, so there's plenty of time to do a build like that.
No, yeah, that's a solid mid card match. Is that it for that? Like, all you got for that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so my second match, kind of following in your thing, it would be based off a Rumble elimination and some like former Mania backstory. Is I have the man who would in my timeline dethrone Gunther, Drew McIntyre, taking on the man who he once again eliminated from the Royal Rumble, Brock Lesnar, for the Intercontinental Championship. And I have Brock walking out with the title to make him finally hold more than just the WWE or like the Universal title. I know like he doesn't really need a mid-card belt, but like it would just be kind of fun for a little bit, you know?
You know what? We're really, at the end of the day, that's building up the IC title. It'd be massive because we've had Gunther, and then your idea of a world that would then go to Drew McIntyre to then Brock Lesnar.
And I would have McIntyre hold it for a while, you know what I mean? Like, and the way I'd book it is probably heel McIntyre versus face Brock. That way people aren't so mad about Brock holding the IC title.
No, yeah, once again, it's just weird. Like, it's weird to hear the words Brock and IC title in the same sentence, but that would 100% fully cement the IC title where it should be. So
exactly. And yeah, like it would be, and it would also obviously be revisiting their rivalry they had, you know, for the championship at, what was it, like 2020 WrestleMania. So it'd be playing off all that again.
No, absolutely, yeah.
But that's pretty much all I have for that. I mean, other than like just like the obvious note of it being a really like high impact Smash Mouth match, because obviously I'd want it to like go for a little bit to, like you say, build the IC title up. But yeah, that'd be my second match. I think that'd be about. I don't really have. I mean, do you have any input on that, or like other than?
I mean, I think that's a great idea to have Brock Lesnar hold the IC title, because I think it sounds weird, but I think it's weird enough to where it could work for just cementing the IC title, and that's great.
Plus, then like you have him and Drew can have another match like following, and then you can kind of decide what to do from there. Like,
yeah, and then they kind of just need to worry about building the United States Championship up.
Which I have a match for that, because if you know, Sunday night when I didn't have even a mid-card belt, I filled it with NXT belts instead. There was a reason for that.
Okay.
And that's because on this show I wanted to kind of feature the mid-card belts, because I feel like you could use Mania to elevate NXT, but you also should use it to elevate those mid-card belts, especially because they never, or they hardly ever have the mid-card belts defended at Mania anymore.
Yeah. No, and that's fair. That's a completely fair thing to do, like to use WrestleMania to elevate like both NXT and the mid-card belts. With that being said, my second match of the night 2 is it's a little scrapped together kind of. I was running out of ideas, because weirdly enough you would think it would be like later on would be the last matches that I set up, but this was, I think, the last match I actually set up. I forgot, much like WWE would, I forgot about the women's titles. The tag titles, not the women's titles. Not the women's titles. But I forgot about the women's tag titles. So I'm just keeping it really accurate, you know? So the second match is Grayson Waller versus Sheamus for no reason.
I mean, I could see a build for that though.
So, yeah, I figure, you know, we'll have like a Grayson Waller effect where he'll like invite Sheamus and like maybe the Brawling Brutes on, and maybe Sheamus will be in a feud with someone or something, or like dying down in a feud, and Grayson Waller says something stupid to Sheamus, and Sheamus gets mad, and then Sheamus tries to bro kick him, and you know, and you work from there.
Maybe I would make fun of Sheamus for like losing, you know, he hasn't like won at a Mania in a while, something like that.
Maybe this build starts happening like after because of my not one, Drew McIntyre is going for the IC title, so maybe Drew McIntyre gets that title shot and he like makes fun of Sheamus for the fact of that like his friend Drew is like in a match when he's not.
I mean, in all honesty, that's a really solid matchup. Like, you could book that in a lot of ways, and it would be hard hitting. Like, the only thing is, what do you do with the Brawling Brutes in that match? Because you're obviously gonna want to.
You have them banned from ringside because they like did something a week or two earlier.
Get them tossed out, yeah, because they should be there, like at a point, but.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and that's kind of the idea there, and then we get to see Grayson Waller's weird like roly-poly stunner thing that he does that I still don't understand why he does that. But it's cool, you know.
Who's winning it though?
Oh, Grayson Waller comes out on top because I feel like Grayson Waller kind of needs it more than.
Because I think a cool way to end that match would be you have. Sheamus go for the bro kick and he ducks it and then turns around and rolls into that stunner.
Yeah.
That'd be like a phenomenal way, because then he gets a win and it's like it's not him really stealing it, it's a clean win, but like.
So like Sheamus still could have came out on top, like it was still possible.
It's close, so they both look good walking out.
Yeah, and like you have it be be like something like that, you know, where he just is able to manage to take it, and it would be fun. And then you could
No,
like
it
still
definitely
build
would be
on
a
from
fun
there
match,
and
like for an out of
definitely,
nowhere
like,
kind of match.
absolutely. I think I
exactly.
think you keep the build semi-small, right? Like you start this build a couple weeks before Mania. Because as I said, it's like he's like making fun of Sheamus for the fact that like Drew McIntyre had a match on WrestleMania and he didn't. So then Sheamus is like, well, you know what? Why don't we have a match on Mania?
And maybe have Grayson Waller duck the challenge for a while.
Yeah.
Like maybe have him be like, you know, like, hey fella, why don't we, like, you don't have a match at Mania this year, why don't we wrestle him? And he just keeps ducking it for a while, and then finally until Sheamus gets that, like, because no, that would really be a fun match in my opinion. Like,
no, absolutely. I think it'll give Grayson Waller something to do. Because like I quite like Grayson Waller's personality. Like I think he's quite funny. So I think it would.
well, it'd be a good way to get to build him up as a future star, and it's like, I don't know.
No, yeah, and that's exactly why I would have.
And it's another one of those matches, kind of like my Drew and Brock match, where you can have a return match between them at the next pay-per-view, and it could go either way. Like, and I don't think people would just get bored of it right away.
And eventually, it could like go towards like one of the championships, like eventually it could go towards like the U.S. title or something. They end up near that picture.
No, exactly. It would build him for the mid-card, definitely.
No, yeah, exactly. Because maybe, like, after a couple months, like, feuding with Sheamus, and eventually he can, like, LA Knight can drop it to someone, maybe him, who knows. And LA Knight can start going main event while he takes the mid-card title and does what Austin Theory tried to do, but better.
That works. Sounds solid. Is that all you have for that one? Or?
Yeah, that's what I got.
It's a good match, though. Good idea, especially for just an out of nowhere kind of thing. So I guess I'm on to what, match 3.
Number 3.
And my match 3 would be a rematch from last year, but also it would have to do with my night 1 match, the 6-man tag that was. In case if you haven't seen watched our night 1 predictions, it was John Cena, The Rock, and Rey Mysterio versus The Miz, Austin Theory, and Grayson Waller. And there would be some shenanigans in that match that would cause like Theory to, like, I don't know, something would happen between him and Cena in that match, even though, you know, Cena's team would win, and it would lead to this night 2 match, like maybe Theory attacks Cena after the tag match or something, you know what I mean? Like, he's not there for the finish, and then Rey and The Rock leave the ring, and like he comes up and attacks Cena from behind, or...
Yeah. Okay, so you build into a Cena versus Theory rematch.
Yeah, because I think it's a fair rematch, and I think, to be honest, not to sound like this kind of person, but I feel like that's one of those wins because it really went nowhere for Theory. I think Cena should get another match and get his win back.
That's fair. So you have Cena winning.
You have Cena go over, yeah. That way they're even. And it could lead. I mean, I don't know what it'll lead to. Maybe it'll be like the match that leads to like one more like kind of run for Cena. I'm not saying necessarily title run, but maybe it's and if it is a title run, I don't know, like. Maybe this could be a number 1 contenders match for like the U.S. Championship down the line.
Okay.
And they can get those Cena Open challenges again.
Yeah. And with that, would you like do anything with the fact that Austin Theory won by low blow last time?
Maybe what you could do is he goes for the low blow again. He goes for the low blow again, but this time, like, Cena blocks it, like, and either hits one of his own, or you have Cena turn it into, like, an STF somehow, and, like, just, you know, make him tap out. Because I can see it, he goes down for the thing, and Cena catches him with, like, his legs or something, and then he twists around and he puts him in, like, an STF, or... Or you could even have him go for like a kick, like he tries to kick Cena in the groin, and like Cena catches his foot and then flips him around and turns it into the STI.
Yeah, no, and that could definitely work for that setup, 100%.
Because I do think, like I said, and it's only because the win went nowhere. I think Cena needs to get the win back, because it's one of those losses. Now when you look at it, it's like, what was the point in him losing that?
Yeah, no, and that's true. Because it did go nowhere, and it was just kind of annoying.
It just led to Austin Theory having the U.S. title longer than he should have.
No, yeah. But I think the reason Cena did lose there was just because Cena didn't have any plans to actually fully return then. But right now it's looking like he's actually genuinely having a full, run right now.
No, yeah, exactly. That's why I could see him, him even working, both nights in Mania like that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would be a very John Cena thing to do. This is Super Cena over here. Right back.
And then that also maybe will help Theory build back up a little bit in a weird way. You have him on 2 nights, and you keep that him and Cena feud kind of fresh in people's minds.
Yeah. No, and that's fair.
I don't see I don't see it going maybe any farther than a couple the next SmackDown after that though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect I wouldn't expect that to go to another pay-per-view, because in an honest fashion I also wouldn't want it to.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That does make sense. All in all, you wouldn't want that going for too long. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, because and it's I feel like it's a feud that's kind of run its course anyway, so.
Yeah.
She starts to rise back up, but does she know where she is?
So yeah, that's all I have to say about that one, probably.
Okay. So, my match number 3 is, once again, still kind of from the idea of my match 3 from not 1, but this time instead of it being, it would be a 6 woman ladder match for a Money in the Bank for NXT's women's division, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's interesting.
So, the way you would have it work out is they could cash in on any women's NXT title, or just you get it. You understand.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But anyway, and the women competing in this match will be Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade, Nikia Lyons, Roxanne Perez, Blair Davenport, and Tiffany Stratton. Now, this is at the point where I realized I need to watch more NXT because I haven't watched it in a couple years. And I have no clue what's going on down there. But I do know one thing. And that's that Tiffany Stratton makes funny TikToks. Because I get them on my feed constantly. So Tiffany Stratton is winning that match. And that was the genuine decision process in my head. Was she makes funny TikToks, so she's winning that match.
Would it be a clean climb up and win, or are you gonna have her win by, because she has a heel, she's kind of a lot of people were comparing her to Mandy when she got the belt.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could work really however you want it to be. If you want it to be just a clean Money in the Bank, just show off for, it's if you wanted it just to be a show of skill and character, you could just have it be a very set ladder match, or you could have her win in some dirty way. Once again, it's a good ladder match to show people off, because I don't know much about these performers. I'm sure there's a lot of other people who haven't watched NXT in a while.
Well, and you named a lot of their main ones anyway still.
Yeah, so
They
you
have
know, it'd
some
be a
other
good,
ones, but you're not like too far off.
you know, they could just have a good time, you know.
No, yeah. I mean, it should
I'm
be.
sure
That would be a
that they're
good
all
match.
great.
I wouldn't hate it. Like, they are all good wrestlers. And I
Alright.
guess having her win would make the most sense. Although she has been NXT Women's Champion. But, I mean,
Well, I mean that's fine.
her
She
run
can
wasn't,
just hold
like,
that belt over.
insanely good.
She could use it to, if for some reason Becky's still champion at that point, taunt Becky. You know, torment Becky with her fucking Money in the Bank. Like, ooh, when am I gonna cash in? You don't know. Or whoever's women's champ at the time, you know. Or she could use the Money in the Bank to do another Dance with Shrek on TikTok.
A woman meant for the
You know,
highlight
that's
reel.
also an option.
Is that all you got for that match, or you just got...
Yeah, that's all I have, because it was genuine, just like, I want something here. I would like to see these performers perform, so...
It gives
we'll put
NXT
them-
something, kind of like what I was
Yeah,
doing.
exactly, and it was kind of the same logic as, like, your part, where it's like, I want NXT to have, a point to shine, so they can have that. And I thought about doing it for the men's, too, and I decided against it, and I kind of wish I had just went ahead and done it for the men's. But hindsight 2020, you know?
No limits. She wouldn't know her limits if they were right in front of her, Michael.
No, I get you.
Round and round into the small
It's alright.
package. Cover. Only a
So what do you got for number 4?
Well, I was going to say, if nothing else, like, that's the men's Money in the Bank for NXT. You could all save it for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
It's in.
Yeah, that's true.
Leg lock.
So my match 4, a little interesting. It's for the U.S. Championship. We both have this same kind of thing. Santos Escobar takes it from Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
But in mine, he's defending in a triple threat against Bobby Lashley and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And the build being, he essentially beats Rey, becomes like super disrespectful, you know, and he talks about being like the greatest, maybe like even kind of disrespects like the U.S. title, however, you know.
Yeah.
I see him like maybe leading a heel version of the LWO with the belt, and then what you do is basically he would like just I would have Lashley just naturally earn a title match like on his own, but during the time he's waiting to feud with Lashley, he's gonna get into like a mini feud with Cody, because he's gonna talk about like America and being like the greatest, you know, and then basically the like whole American Nightmare shtick's gonna like play into that.
Yeah.
Because maybe Santos will talk about Dusty not being the, he'll call himself like the real American, you know, just something like disrespect Cody. So then it'll spill over, and then it'll lead into maybe Cody having a shot like at the Rumble, not winning, Lashley having a shot at the pay-per-view after not winning, and then it being like ended in this triple threat match.
And so does that mean in your universe Cody does get drafted over to SmackDown?
Oh yeah, that would mean Cody got drafted. I forgot to mention that. Thank you for...
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think is a natural thing that's bound to happen soon anyway. Like, it feels like they're leading towards him getting drafted over. Maybe for different plans than what you're picturing are. But it does look like that's what's going to happen. But I honestly like
I would have had him in my world title match, but the plan I have for my world title, you'll understand.
No, it's fine. You can leave him out of it. I won't complain. And who'd you say was winning that match?
Okay, so I would actually have Cody winning the match.
Never mind, I regret everything I said. I don't like... No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't like Cody that
But that's to go into a feud with Lashley, not to go into... Like, I would have probably him and Santos have a rematch the following pay-per-view, but it would actually lead to, like, a thing with Lashley and the Street Profits.
And how would you say he would win that? Like, how you think that match is ending? Like, do you have like a idea of like what turn?
What I would say is probably Lashley nails he nails Santos with the spear, and then like Cody grabs him and hits a crossroads and covers him, or he Lashley like rolls out of the ring on the crossroads and he covers Santos. So Lashley feels like he stole the belt from him, kind of, you know?
Oh, so you mean like what happens to Lashley in every single triple threat match he's in?
Yeah.
I swear, that's like Lashley's curse.
It's his like kryptonite. He should just not be in like triple threats and stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like every time he's in a triple threat match, it's always the same thing. He hits like a spear and then gets thrown out of the ring, and then the other person pins whoever he speared.
Yeah, so that's how I'd have that one going, and I'd have it be like, it'd be probably, I don't know if it'd be match of the night, but it'd probably be leaning on that, because I'd let those three just go all out, and there would definitely be some like table spots, stuff like that. It would get a little like hardcore, because I feel like you're wasting those three if you don't. Because I could see like Lashley spearing one or both of them through like a table in the corner or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not gonna get crazy. No flaming tables. No like 2K kind of like.
Are you saying that Bobby Lashley isn't going to spear Cody Rhodes from the apron to a flaming table?
Pretty much.
What if we? Okay, hear me out here. What if we turn that from a triple threat to a fatal four-way and add Mick Foley to the match? Can we have a flaming table?
But yeah,
he's just there to light the tables.
He's just gonna light the table on fire.
Oh shit!
Mick Foley burned the table match.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty good match. I think that would.
Yeah, that was actually the last one I booked. I had a hard time. I had to tweak that one a bit.
You know, it gives Cody something to do without putting him back in the world title picture. And I know a lot of people would want Cody in the world title picture, but I'm not a big fan of that myself personally, so I'm okay with that booking.
No, exactly. I don't really see him, and I don't think he should get, like, if no one else got two chances like that, he shouldn't.
No, yeah.
You can finish the story later.
Like, the issue is like right now with Roman having it, you don't want him to have two chances when everyone else didn't. But then with like the Seth Rollins thing, it feels like kind of weird to give him that title still, since his whole thing is with like the WWE / Universal / Undisputed now. Like that's kind of his whole stick. He's going for that. So
no, yeah.
To like let him take anything else kind of feels weird. So you kind of want him to be on like a mid card or something. Even though, like, don't get me wrong, I know he's a main event guy.
But there's nothing wrong with main event guys holding mid card belts.
No, yeah,
it
exactly.
It elevates the mid card belt as long as you don't do it all the time.
And that's a better place. Like, that's good for the U.S. Championship, too, just because, like, the IC title's already been input in such a, like, a broad place that the U.S. Championship definitely needs it more than anything. So no, that's exactly. Really cool. That does mean that both of your mid-card belts in your universe are now being held by complete main eventers. So that's kind of funny.
It draws up a lot of interest to those belts, you know what I mean? It's going to make both shows just feel like...
So there's going to be a unification match between Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes, right?
No.
I got that shot down real quick.
What that means is we're bringing back the 24/7 title.
No.
And we're bringing back Shanky.
You're really taking that Shanky release hard.
I am. I want Shanky back. God damn it.
Anyway, is that all you want to say about that match there?
That was my match.
Are we gold?
Yeah, I think it's yours next, right?
Yeah. We're on number 4, right?
Yeah, 4.
My number 4 match is is a career, like a job versus like a retirement match, right? A job versus job, like loser quits, loser leaves town. That's the word I'm looking for. It is a loser leaves town match between Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. Now, more specifically, Rey Mysterio would just be leaving town. Dominic Mysterio gets arrested if he loses this match. No, but this would be Rey Mysterio's retirement match. This is what this would be. Not saying that Rey Mysterio needs to retire right now. I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna do it at WrestleMania and let Dominic do it. So that's kind of the logic I have here.
Not to cut you off, I honestly, for my night one, I was contemplating booking that match, and I was gonna leave Rey as U.S. champ and have Dom stay North American and have it be title versus title, like. But if Dom wins, like, Rey had to retire. But I ended up scrapping it because I really wanted Chad Gable to be in a match, and I thought, again, like, the Chad Gable Dominic dynamic would have been.
All you had to do to fit everything you wanted there was to just forget that the women's tag titles existed.
You mean like real WWE?
Yeah, I mean that's what I did. But so yeah, obviously the build for this match was you would have Dominic coming over to like SmackDown for different intervals for one reason or another. Maybe the Bloodline's like, hey, not the Bloodline, but the Judgment Day's like, hey, and they're like, for some reason the Judgment Day is tormenting SmackDown. They're just trying to take over the roster, right? Because like with the Bloodline kind of falling apart, they're trying to take their chance to just kind of assert dominance. And with that comes Dominic Mysterio coming back, and like maybe he's the one who cost Rey his match against Santos. You know, something like that, and he's just tormenting his dad again, and it's getting to the point to where Rey's like, that's it. If you don't stop, I'm going to have you arrested. I can't handle this shit anymore. And Dominic's like, fine, let's settle this at WrestleMania. If I win, you have to quit the WWE. If you win, I'll go back to jail. And then you have Dominic Mysterio come out in a yellow jumpsuit, an orange jumpsuit. And you have Dominic Mysterio, like maybe he's like not fully in control the whole time, but by the end of it he takes like control, and he ends up beating Rey Mysterio with a 619, using the 619 as the finisher to rub it in even more. He fins off the 619.
Is there any interference from the Judgment Day?
No, I think you actually have this be a super clean cut match because it's a retirement match.
Okay.
So, like, and I would say, like, what's happening and the reason you could brought this off story-wise is the Judgment Day is, like, very consumed with other things that are happening, like Finn Balor and because of, like, what happened earlier, Finn Balor and Damian Priest are still in, like, arguments. Rhea Ripley's trying to take care of that, and Dominic kind of gets left in the wayside. But he still manages to pull it off, showing that he can be his own singles competitor. You know?
Okay.
And, like, maybe you have, like, a heartwarming moment where Dominic reflects on what he just did, like, on the fact that he just retired his father, and maybe they do have a heartfelt, and because, like, you know, it could build to something there. Maybe this is, like, the start of Dominic realizing he doesn't want to run with the Judgment Day anymore, and he
No, I get you.
and you could have like a little build like that, and it would be very heartwarming. Yeah, and I'm once again, as long as like one, I just want Dominic to be the one who puts Rey away. Like, I'm not saying it has to happen this WrestleMania. I'm just saying that's how I want it to go down, so that's why I'm putting this here. Just because, I think Dominic is the best heel on the roster, hands down, right now. That's just my take. I think he is the best heel on the WWE roster right now.
Is that it for that one, or?
Yeah, I mean, no, that's everything. You know, the condom wins.
And I mean, that would be a good match. Be a rematch from last year.
Yeah, it would be a
Just
rematch
with
from last year. You are
more
correct.
stakes.
Yeah, more stakes. Maybe
Okay.
maybe Rey Mysterio doesn't make his promise from 2014 come true
What?
this time, where he says he's going to beat his kids.
Come on. Okay, so my second to last match, is for the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship.
Okay.
And it's going to have an interesting build. It's going to be a 6-way match.
Oh,
Even
wow.
though it's going to involve the Rumble winner. And so what I'm going to have is Io Sky is going to have the belt still, obviously because Damage Control's helped her keep it. And then Shotzi is going to win the Rumble. But what happens is Bianca, Nia, Asuka, and Charlotte all find their way in the match because they all kind of act like, you know, Shotzi's not really that deserving of being in, even though, like, some of the faces, just because, you know, Shotzi is, like, the ultimate underdog. And, so what happens is, like, it ends up being they all find ways into the match, and it becomes a six-woman match. And then, and basically, I was thinking, like, elimination might be the way to go with it, because it would just be more interesting to go elimination.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like it makes the moment feel bigger if, you know, Shotzi, because I'm mad if Shotzi still win the match. I think she still should win it. She's had a great build. They built her up. I mean, the thing with her shaving her head as a tribute to her sister, who unfortunately got cancer, is really nice. You know, it's nice that WWE let her work that into her character. And I would just have her win it as like an underdog. And I think the order of elimination is Nia Jax would be the first one out. And the reason I even have Nia in the match is I assume they brought her back for a reason. And it's, you know, so I'm just going to say that was probably the reason, just to put her in big matches. And the way I'd have her just go out is she'd take a multitude of like finishers, and then basically everybody covers her to keep her down.
And then Randy Orton comes out of nowhere and RKO's her.
No, Rhino comes out and gores her through a table. What are you talking about?
sorry, it's just old habits die hard.
So she gets eliminated. She's out. And then you probably have the back and forth between Bianca and Charlotte. But then when going for the miss, out of nowhere, Asuka's going to miss Charlotte and hit Bianca with it. And Charlotte's going to, like, take Bianca out with that.
Okay.
So Bianca would be out next. No shade at Bianca. I really do like Bianca Belair. It's just the way that would probably go in my head. And then with that, you have Io and Asuka double team Charlotte, and then basically they get Charlotte out of the match with double teams, and at that point I would have Shotzi like knocked out outside the ring or something off of some big bump or like some double team or something. And then Shotzi would be against both of them, and they would pull the 2-on-1 stuff, but she would overcome it, and then like at a point Io would turn on Asuka, like double cross her, and that would leave Shotzi and Io as the last two, and then Io would try basically all of her, like, you know, just try everything, and she just can't keep Shotzi down, and then Shotzi fights her way out and ends up winning the match, giving her that big Mania moment, and like making the Rumble win actually mean something for once.
Yeah. Okay. That's really cool.
I mean, there'd be a lot of like cool spots in the match. You'd have a few weapon spots again. I don't want to go too crazy because the last match had some too, so you don't want to like overdo it, obviously. But
well, yeah, your last match takes place in a backyard wrestling like ring, right? So there's
fluorescent light tubes,
like fluorescent light tubes and broken glass.
Like, you know,
it's just natural, you know.
CZW now, great. My favorite promotion that I don't watch.
It was really funny. I saw a TikTok. I'm getting a little off track, but I saw a TikTok today of a dude just jumping onto a trampoline, and then they like moved the camera in closer, and the trampoline's made of barbed wire for some reason, and we like no one knows why I jumped on it. And all the comments are just like, man, didn't know we were watching backyard wrestling on TikTok now.
I mean, fair.
But yeah, that match seems really cool, and it's a really
it's a really like fantasy booked match. I don't think they do a six-way women's title
I don't
match,
think
but
they would either.
not at a
and
Mania,
if they did,
at
I
least.
just don't have confidence in WWE booking Shotzi to be the winner of that. You know what I mean? Like
Well, that's why the way I had it booked, it was more WWE-esque, where she's not really eliminating people. She more capitalizes on the mistakes of the other people, and then maybe just gets the last elimination, because I know that's how they would book it.
Yeah.
She would have her moments, definitely. I could see them giving her moments in the match, but like she wouldn't really be the one eliminating people. In all honesty, if Io and Asuka didn't eliminate Charlotte, it'd be Charlotte eliminating Asuka and Bianca, because that's pretty much how I would see them booking it, more than likely, is just making Charlotte still look the most dominant.
No, and that makes sense. I could see them trying to make Charlotte as dominant as possible, and I could also see them trying to make Nia Jax last super long into it if she was in a match like that.
That's why I said she'd get dogpiled, because that's the only way they would do it, is they would have her get eliminated early for like a comedy spot, because that's
have
how
Randy
they are.
Orton running an RKO. Yeah.
Maybe we should. Maybe you're on your card. You should just booked her versus Randy Orton if you want that so bad. Damn.
No, it's just something that would naturally happen. It's not that I want it, it's just how things work. We all know that that's a natural flowing thing. Randy Orton RKO and Nia Jax in the middle of a dog pile of finishers. It's what happens when she gets dog piled with finishers.
I need to have a girl that does RKO. I need like a girl Randy Orton does that.
I don't know, it's a good question. I would just take Randy Orton back right now, so I hope he recovers smoothly and is able to make it back into the ring at some point.
I know he was at the Performance Center recently, so...
I know, I did see that too. I do hope he just...
My only thing is I didn't like, that made me wonder, because I was sure that Riddle was going to keep his job solely because of Randy.
But before we get too off track, my fifth match and my second to last match is also a women's match. It's for the World Heavyweight title, the Women's World Heavyweight title, and not...
yeah, because we were opposites on those.
Yeah, and this would be my Mania winner for the women's side of things, which would be Shayna Baszler taking on Rhea Ripley. So you'd have that build up of like Shayna Baszler winning the Rumble and then declaring she's going after Ripley. Just because it gives Rhea Ripley like someone who could genuinely put up a really big fight against her, and like you could have a very believable back and forth. And I think that's definitely how you do it, is you have like a very big back and forth, and maybe you put like a stipulation on the match, so they're maybe like a False Count Anywhere match or something, so they're fighting everywhere, like they're up the ramp, they're just brawling, right? And you have this tear through like the backstage, and maybe you have it end with like Rhea Ripley hitting like a riptide off of like something, you know what I mean? Like maybe she hits the riptide off the top of something, and getting that pin over Shayna Baszler, and that kind of like, because like the people Rhea Ripley has fought since she's been champion has like, she's had some good matches, but there's been a lot of just like, hey, we need to throw someone out here and have her squash her, and it's like, no, I want like a really, really good match that still like, defines Rhea.
Her best match was Zelina, I think, wasn't it?
I would argue, yeah. And
If we're saying
So
non-squashes, that was probably the best one because I remember that wasn't a
Yeah.
squash. Like they had an actual.
Yeah, she actually had like a decent match with Rhea. But yeah, I think you put her up against Shayna Baszler, and you like give Shayna Baszler her moments too. Like you have it be a really back and forth match.
The only thing I would argue, and this is just me, is I would have Shayna go over, but like I'm not telling you how to book your card, and that's just because I feel like Shayna's never gotten her time.
And that's fair. And I wouldn't be mad at that.
And that'd be like one good way to give her that like time is go over like someone that's.
I mean, here's my definitive answer, right? Okay, it depends. And this is completely if Rhea Ripley still has that weird bowl haircut that she's rocking recently, you have Shayna Baszler go over.
You don't like her medieval surf hair? Why?
She shouldn't look like 2011 Ian from Smosh. I'm just saying.
She's like, my lord, I won the women's title, and I'm tending to the turnips.
What is going on with that? So yeah, that's how you decide it. You know, you get to that point. If she still has that hairstyle, you give Shayna Baszler the win. If she doesn't have that hairstyle anymore, you let Rhea take it still, and, you know, continue her run. It's that simple. Alright, because I feel like they will take some time. Would you like to start your main event?
Okay, yeah, my main event is going to be Roman Reigns defending against my Royal Rumble winner in this timeline. And I think it's someone who a lot of people would like to see win the Royal Rumble and go for Roman's title. And that's LA Knight. Yeah.
LA Knight, yeah.
And my reason for that match is I'm in your like camp of I think LA Knight needs a belt, but I think he's gotten so over, and him versus Roman wasn't even really like a prospect a year ago, and now it's the like a lot of people think he's the guy that should be the guy, and I'm in that same boat. I think he really should be the guy to beat Roman Reigns.
That's fair.
I would have him win the Rumble. Probably have like a. He doesn't need to have like a come in at number one and win the whole thing kind of thing. I think like just a fair number, but you definitely have him like in there semi-early fighting his way through. He could have a fair amount of eliminations. I think the most elims in that Rumble should definitely go to, even though I said Brock's going to be in it, I think Gunther should like definitely either tie or break not maybe tie, but he should definitely have a ton of elims in that. Because he's going to be my night one contender, so...
Have Gunther eliminate 28 different people.
And then he gets eliminated by Cody. No, I'm just kidding.
That would mean Cody has to win, Dom. I said 28. That would mean the last two would have to be...
Well, no, Cody takes him out and takes himself out. So they eliminate each other.
No one wins?
No, and then while LA Knight's right there, like...
Oh, so LA Knight's just watching?
Yeah.
He's like, LA Knight, yeah.
And I'd probably have LA throw someone like Drew or Sheamus. Nah, not Sheamus. Like a Drew or a Grayson Waller out at the end. Even maybe like Finn Balor. And it would definitely be a really like competitive match. I would want I would let the Bloodline get involved, but it would have a bit of a caveat in that, is it's not in the way you might necessarily think. Because mid-match you're going to have the Judgment Day attempt the heist of the century all over again. But as Damian and Finn are coming down, Solo and Jimmy basically stop them.
Yeah. So in this universe, Jimmy does mend things fully with the Bloodline.
He's at least with them until Mania.
Okay.
And then, so now you have that fight kind of going. And then what I would do is, while they're fighting on the outside, JD McDonough comes out, he knocks down Jimmy, and then him and Solo brawl to the back. and then Jimmy's gonna get involved. Like Paul Heyman's gonna cause a ref distraction. Jimmy's gonna get involved. He's gonna go to super kick LA, and LA's gonna move, and Roman's gonna eat the super kick, and then like LA will get rid of Jimmy, and then he'll hit his finisher on Roman and get the win.
Okay, no,
Because then that can lead to like the actual end of the bloodline, where now Jimmy's gonna end up fighting Roman at like Extreme Rules or whatever. And
no, yeah. And it gets the belt off Roman finally, which is absolutely like amazing.
The challenger eating up some damage. Catches the kick.
And I would say with LA winning, you have somebody equal to like Daniel Bryan levels of like popularity when it comes to being champion.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and that's exactly why this is the most fantasy booked match on your card.
It's not gonna happen because we really hate him.
Yeah, exactly. You figured it out.
We do not like him. The cab driver slam. No, Sean Ryan hit the cab driver slam, guys.
Bye now.
Oh God, that's a bad landing.
So,
yeah, but that's pretty much my main event and I think the crowd will go home the happiest in that one. That's also why I don't think it's gonna happen.
Oh, absolutely. I completely
just,
agree. The crowd would absolutely love it if that happened.
Setting up.
Alright, but yeah, that's pretty much my main event. What do you got?
So, my main event, so in this storyline, on the build-up to WrestleMania, the Bloodline is imploding. They're absolutely messy. People are trying to pick sides and stuff. And at the end of the Royal Rumble, it's coming down to like you take your pick of a couple people. Maybe you have like Sheamus towards the end. You have a couple people towards the end, and Solo Sikoa manages to win the Rumble. So everyone's like, oh, he's not going to go for Roman. He's still completely on Roman's side. He's probably going to go for like Seth Rollins' title and try to capture the title over on Raw. That way the Bloodline's back on top of every title. And in like a turn of events on that Raw, he's like he walks out with Roman to make the announcement. As Roman's like, and obviously that's what he's going to do. He like grabs Roman and hits him with a Samoan spike, right? So kind of challenging Roman there. So now it all builds up to this moment of like the Bloodline's at its peak implode at this WrestleMania main event, and as this is happening, you know, they come out Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship. And it's a grueling back and forth. Things are happening. People are interfering. Paul Heyman's trying to distract the ref. Jimmy Uso comes out and like takes out Paul Heyman, which completely like devastates Roman Reigns. Things are going back and forth. It's looking like Solo Sikoa is about to win. He goes to hit Roman with that final spike. Roman reverses it and then hits him with a spear, pinning Solo Sikoa. The crowd's devastated, absolutely distraught. And as this is happening, Damian Priest runs out, and he goes to cash in his Money in the Bank, and he hands it to the ref, and Roman Reigns is like, what? What am I about to do? How am I about to do this? And Finn Balor comes out, and mind you, Finn Balor has just been disputing with Damian Priest throughout the night. They've been arguing after that tag title match. You know, Finn blaming Damian, even though J.D. Madonna like cost them that the tag title match and stuff. So everyone's like, oh God, Finn's about to cost Damian Priest. Everyone's thinking Finn's about to cost Damian Priest. And as this is about to happen, people are like, oh my God, this is about to like be awful. Finn Balor does end up actually taking out Roman, and Damian Priest wins with a cash-in from the Money in the Bank, becoming our undisputed World Heavyweight Champion, and Roman Reigns is dethroned.
What a shift into the tides with this championship match. The now former champion obviously not happy with this outcome. I did not think a title change.
And that's how Roman Reigns loses his title. But as the night is about to end with like Damian Priest celebrating, Finn Balor does end up making the turn, but in so challenging Damian Priest for the title and completely kind of nudging Roman Reigns out of the picture. Finn Balor does end up attacking Damian Priest, but it's after Damian Priest wins the title from cashing in. And
that would be a good that'd be a good way, because honestly I do think they should let Priest actually cash in. If he's gonna, like, having him be the guy to win it, like, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they've been building like the Judgment Day up, and I kind of think, even though everybody wants Finn to take it, I just feel like that's kind of garbage, because that's the second time in like...
And it doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make sense.
And it's the second time in, what, 5 years they've done that, where someone's won Money in the Bank and then they just take it.
Yeah, and once again, it just doesn't make sense for Finn to take it like in the way people are saying, with the whole... but where we've came to in here, do you want to start that match, or do you want to...
Yeah, it's starting. You're good.
Okay.
Well, because like they did it with Otis, where he won the thing, and like...
Yeah. No, like, that's not kind of, like, I don't want that to happen. And it doesn't make sense because, Finn Balor kind of, like, for that to happen the way people are saying it, right? The ref would have to check for the contract. The ref has never once done that. So it doesn't even make sense logically on why the ref would be checking the contract because that's what people are like saying. It's like, oh, with the J.D. McDonough briefcase, he's gonna switch out the contract. Ooh. Also, I'm pretty sure the ref would know who won the Money in the Bank match. So we'd be like, why would you have the? This doesn't seem. Also, that's not how contracts work. Like, usually contracts have to be signed for them to mean anything.
No, exactly. Plus, like you said, when has the ref ever looked in the briefcase to be like, oh yeah, let me make sure it's in there?
Yeah.
Like, that's never been it. I just don't like the idea of just taking it away either. Like, we've done it already. Which we shouldn't do that. Like, if you're gonna do that again, don't do it so close to the last time.
No, yeah. And I think that's a great place to kind of like end off WrestleMania on like a more of a devastating note than anything. Of like not so much of a devastating note. Like, it ends with like you'd expect Damian Priest to be celebrating, but instead he just gets betrayed by Finn Balor at the end. Like,
yeah, now that's something I could see happening. Like like JD and him, and then you have like Rhea and Dom like either leave or like they're trying to like calm it down, but like nothing.
Yeah, well, and because like the way it could work, because like thinking about Finn's a very smart person. It wouldn't make sense for him to like see Damian about to cash it. He could see his opportunity to like get a title shot through Damian, and instead of like trying to steal his cash in or trying to cost him his cash in, he would be like, oh my god, I can let Damian win this match against Roman, and then I can take it off Damian at like the next pay-per-view. He's a very smart person, so that's how he would think. He wouldn't just cost Damian the match for no reason. But the crowd would expect WWE to book it in a way where Damian would lose and Roman would still be the title holder at the end. So it would get a reaction of like, no! The crowd would go crazy, and it would be just a wild way to end off the night. And that would be my dream WrestleMania right there for WrestleMania 40.
God, what an elbow. Look at this, going counter for counter.
No, that sounds like a good, like, I don't know, I don't have anything against that.
But he might not know where he is.
I just, like I said, I agree with you, and I'm like in the camp of like, if we're gonna do the Money in the Bank, don't take it off Damian, keep it on him.
Yeah.
And this one is over.
Oh yeah, and I don't know if you like forgot or what, but you forgot to mention that Shanky returned on your card.
Oh, that's right. Shanky returned and won the 24/7 title and then every other title.
That makes sense. Yeah,
I
I
bet their
expected
opponent
that.
learned a thing or two in this one about watching their
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap things up. What about you?
Oh yeah, I think that is a good spot for that. Oh, I didn't mean to do a breakout. We're done. Match is done. We're not doing a breakout.
You
Keep
can
forgetting.
just walk up the ramp and it'll end. You can walk up the ramp and it'll end.
Oh, well, here, we'll just do this. Either way it happened.
Okay.
There we go. I keep
Wow.
forgetting every game is Boulder's Gate.
Alright, well, thank you all for watching this episode of the DawnCast. I hope you all enjoyed and had a great time. If you did, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I think we will see you all soon.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. See you in episode 11, guys. Bye-bye.